Folks, welcome back. It is another episode of Wrestling with Emotion. Get rid of that hangover because fortunes are about to change tonight at Money in the Bank. I'm Maniac, joined by Dwayne O'Mania, Rob Ryan, McAdoo, and of course, Ty B. Gentlemen, how are we doing this weekend heading into what should be a big pay-per-view in the landscape of WWE?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I think WWE's really been lackluster the last few couple months, but we saw on Friday night that with fans, it just changes the whole atmosphere. And I think that this is going to be one of the better pay-per-views we've seen in the last few months because there's fans, and fans just make it so much better.
I couldn't agree with you more, Robbie. That episode of SmackDown was probably the most enthused I've felt after it was over with in a very long time. And I'll give credit where credit is due. WWE during the pandemic did the best they possibly could do and did some pretty creative things with the fact that there wasn't a live audience. But like you said, nothing can replace a live audience. The reaction, the pop you get. Even when Vinnie Mac walked out onto the stage and literally said 6 words, the pop was enormous. It was you cannot replace that. And I'm excited to see Money in the Bank, especially the men's Money in the Bank match, man. I think that's going to be unbelievable.
Absolutely, Dwayne. And I just want to piggyback off that a little bit. So much enthusiasm, and it's such a great episode of SmackDown Friday night. There's still some holes, and like they fall into that traditional, like, let's run things back, every once in a while. But besides that, it was great to see the pop with all the fans. And then you had TNA Slammiversary last night, which was absolutely incredible. I'm not going to, dive deep into it, but we got, a potential Bullet Club civil war going on, and it's going to be absolutely incredible. So I'm excited to see what WWE can do to try to one up Slammiversary last night.
This is my favorite pay-per-view of the year besides WrestleMania. I love ladder matches. I love the Money in the Bank contract. It's such a great idea that Jericho had 15 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So it's just it changes careers, and it also ends careers. Well, shortens careers, not ends them, but
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there is going to be, like we said, the fortunes of superstars are about to change tonight, and who loves that more than the fans? And again, it was like Ty B said, the Slammiversary, whether it's WWE SmackDown this past week or AEW, fans are back, and I think that is, wrestling feels hotter than it has been in a while. And so these companies really have a strong opportunity to do it. Again, we would be remiss not to mention AEW. They're definitely going to be pushing, WWE as far as the numbers, as far as the product.
Yep.
And WWE does their best work when they're up against it. So fans are back in the stands. What are you guys most excited about for this next 2 to 3 months juncture here before we get into the Money in the Bank matches tonight?
Mm-hmm. Ooh. I alluded to it real quick. I think what we're seeing with TNA, they're having their upcoming pay-per-view. I think it's in September. It's going to be like a collaboration pay-per-view with NJPW. AEW is going to be involved. I think there might be another one, but that looks like they're building it up to be like a huge, like, mega card in Las Vegas. This potential, Bullet Club, Civil War being one of the headliners in that. Sign me up right now.
It's almost like it's almost like you remember back in the days of WCW when the NWO did their little bit of a split and they had their Civil War, you had the Wolfpack and the original, Hollywood NWO crew. It's kind of it shows shades of that. And the one thing AEW has done that I really, really, really love is just a collaboration with a lot of the other independent circuits, TNA, like Impact Wrestling. Like the fact that I haven't watched the last 2 weeks, but is Kenny Omega still holding every single belt?
Yeah, Kenny retained last night. Sorry, spoiler alert.
No, I'm sorry, but still, it
might have been match of the year so far, to be honest.
Yeah, and you know what? Yeah, with Sammy, and it was just like, they do common sense things, and that's why they're so good. They know what the fans want because they're fans themselves. They're not thinking about big dollars and
Everyone has been talking about Nick Cage this, Nick Cage that. What do? Sami Callihan comes out with a pizza cutter Nick Cage tribute. Like,
yeah.
Oh, must-watch match.
Most definitely. I think that, like we've said in the past, AEW and these other promotions are crossing their T's, dotting their I's. They're doing the easy things right. Ryan and McAdoo, any thoughts as we head to the rest of the summer and we get strapped in for Money in the Bank?
I definitely just want to see better storylines. We've seen the same ones over the last few months because they really didn't have many ideas without the fans. I definitely want to start seeing new storylines. There's some superstars mainly WB because the other ones they do good with their superstars, but there's so many superstars in WB that are just lackluster. Like, I mean, hopefully Finn Balor gets a push this time that he's back on SmackDown. That could be a great storyline for a few things. Like, I just want to see better storylines.
I'm just glad we're getting back. It just feels right to have the fans in there instead of just the screens. They're just that have been shown that have messed up stuff on them when fans were involved. We're gonna go back to over a year now, but the fans, the pops, it just all feels right.
Yeah, I mean a little bit of pumped in noise on Friday, but it wasn't too noticeable, I don't think.
Oh, after now, I'm conditioned to anything. Give me pumped in noise. Give me anything. Just give me those live fans. And we are back, folks, with Money in the Bank here on Wrestling with Emotion show. Let's get into it. First match of the night. We have a family affair, if I've ever seen one. We got Rey and Dominic Mysterio taking on the table. Rey and Dominic looking to retain those tag team titles. Who you guys got? We'll go around the horn for this one. Dwayne, Ty B, McAdoo, Ryan.
You know what? I've been a big fan of Dominic Mysterio since he's come into the into the WWE. I think for a guy who obviously he's been training, he's the kin of one of the greatest of all time, in my opinion, just when it comes to selling moves and just, his overall his presentation of Rey Mysterio over his career has just been, one of the best. I gotta go with the table. I think. I personally think with the whole. I know the idea of everybody holding gold, the Usos. I think that's just the direction WWE is going in. I think it might. I'm not going to give up my my prediction for the Roman Reigns match later on with Edge, but I think there's going to be some really fun storylines with the way that this match ends up with the table winning the tag champs and becoming, what would it be, like 8-time tag champions? I don't even know at this point. But I think it's going to make for a really interesting storyline with Roman going forward.
Yeah, I think I could see that, and I think that might have been the plan until what happened a few weeks ago, and I don't think they're going to push the Usos the way that they were going to a few weeks ago, just because of another. I'm not going to, he's not convicted of anything yet, but another DWI. So I think that's going to pull them back a little bit here. We saw Dominic get a lot of shine in that match Friday night to lead off SmackDown. You talked about selling those moves. Yeah, selling, getting slammed on the table, like all that stuff. I thought it was great. Dominic's going to get a big push here, and I don't think they're going to take the belts off him now because we haven't even had him have a live promo in front of fans yet. Like, the pop is going to be insane for that, so I think you keep the title on them for that reason. McAdoo, you with me on that?
100% agree. You're not going to give a guy the belts after what he did, allegedly. So you're gonna punch him a little bit. You're gonna give him a slap on the wrist for now. They're gonna go, and maybe SummerSlam, or maybe not. But for now, it's Mysterios, Rey, Dominic retain.
Yeah, I agree with Ty B and McAdoo. Dominic hasn't had that was his first match in front of fans on Friday night. He's a Mysterio. The crowd loves the Mysterios. I don't think they're gonna just take away the belts the first event with fans. So I think they're gonna definitely give the Mysterios a push, and we'll see where it takes Dominic.
Oh no, he's muted. You hate to see it.
I do hate to see that. We got the Mysterios Coalition. I am going to go with the Usos. I agree with Dwayne. I think they're going to go big time in the bloodline, the table. They're going to put gold on all of them. The Mysterios have had the Honey Nut Mysterios have had their moment, and we are going to move on from them. Speaking of tag team action,
hold on, real quick.
Yep.
I want to talk about one speculation that I've seen about a potential tag team match in the future. Like, could it be The Rock and one of the Usos versus Roman and one of the Usos, because potentially they're doing that so The Rock doesn't have to take as many bumps in a solo match and he hasn't wrestled in so long. So I think that could be a potential thing we have at some point here. So it could go with that storyline.
Storyline is most definitely in play. And thank you for following along in the storylines on here on the Wrestling with Emotion show, whether you're following on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch. Get those comments in on what you think is going to happen at Money in the Bank tonight. We have Styles and Omos versus the Viking Raiders. I got to be honest, guys, getting into this is probably my least engaging storyline in WWE. I was hoping they would do a little bit better job building out Omos. He had some good comedic relief in the in the beginning of his character, the beginning of his development, but it's flattened out a little bit for me. With that said, I'll kick this one off. I think it's a no-brainer. I think Styles and Omos retain here, and maybe we get the Viking Raiders a nice 10 to 15 minutes of showcase on this pay-per-view. But what do you think, Rob Ryan?
Yeah, I'm going with you. This is what I was about to say, the same thing. This is really one of the ones that I haven't been following. I feel like they really haven't pushed this much, so they're not going to give the Viking Raiders the titles on a small push, so Styles and Omos retains.
100% agree. I don't see how Omos and AJ lose this match unless it's by DQ, and then they'll still retain their titles.
Yeah, they were like one of the big comebacks after WrestleMania on that Monday night, and they haven't gotten a full push. It's been just so lame, I guess, from what they used to be to what they are now. You think they're brutes and going to run through people and whatnot, and that has not been the case. And you have Omos, who still hasn't had a loss. You're not going to do it now. You're going to give him some time here before I think you eventually split up Styles and Omos, but I don't think he's ready for that yet. So they're going to retain.
I have to agree. I think Styles and Omos retains because I think there just needs to be more time to build up the Viking Raiders. Obviously, it hasn't been long since they've been back together, back on live TV, and they're a fun tag team, man. Everybody loves them when they're rolling. So I think you give them the amount of TV time they deserve before you put the belts back on them, really build up the characters, and then I think you can go a lot further with that tag team after you do that. So I'm definitely going to go Styles and Omos here.
And you see the WWE is trying to get into those real life storylines, King Corbin having his car repossessed, having his house foreclosed upon, stuff like that. The Viking Raiders to me seem like a great foil for a lot of stuff, whether it's them using an app or things like that. You can do all kinds of shtick with them. So I'd be very, happy to see them get a little showcase here. But I think we all agree, sweep across the board, Styles and Omos retain. Okay, let's head over to the women's division here in this Money in the Bank preview. We got Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. So kind of an interesting start to Ripley's tenure. She gets the big win over Asuka at WrestleMania, but now she's kind of been in neutral in this Flair feud. Obviously, Flair has kind of eclipsed the whole women's division since she debuted, and that's not to say that, wrestlers like Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, Bayley, and a few others haven't had their moment, Asuka. But it feels like Ripley really needs to get this win to kind of get over the hump and kind of, solidify her place as a champion as things are going here. So with that said, Dwayne, what's going to happen when Ripley and Flair face off? Are they going to go for another DQ finish here and go for a part 3 at SummerSlam? I've seen that speculated. What's going to happen when Ripley and Flair face off?
100%. I think you just don't let the storyline die at Money in the Bank. I think it'll be a finish that you would expect, like a DQ finish, some type of maybe where they're both counted out, they knock each other, something like that. You cannot end this storyline right now just because I'm a huge Rhea Ripley fan, and personally, pound for pound, just a matter of size and stature, she's honestly the only one that can really match up with Charlotte Flair right now. Mm-hmm. And I think there's just a lot that can be done with those two characters going forward. So yeah, I think Rhea retains, but I think it's not over.
Yeah, this one's an interesting one for me. I think it could kind of go either way because there's a lot of storylines and potential speculation about a few women coming back. So you never know If we're going to see something with that, maybe you have Becky Lynch interfere or something, and now you got a 3-way feud with all three or something going on, and that's something where Raw could really use that infusion right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see some wild card completely out of left field in this match. But the writers have really put Rhea Ripley in a bad spot, I think, with the writing specifically, because her character in NXT, I mean, she could cut a promo, but it was more of, I'm going to let my wrestling do the talking. I'm going to run through all these women. I'm the most dominant woman on the roster. But it's been like a little schoolgirl game with her and Charlotte going back and forth right now. And I don't love the way they're doing it. Hopefully now with fans back, they kind of figure it out. But Zach, this one for me, I think it's going to be something weird. It's going to be something screwy. I don't think we're going to get a finish in this.
I think you guys have been reading my article, man. I mean, this is what I said. It's going to be Rhea getting a DQ loss. Charlotte is going to take the win. I don't know why I said it like that. And you're gonna see part 3 at SummerSlam, and Rhea's going to hold the belt until SummerSlam, and then we'll go from there.
So wait, you snuck that in quick on me, McAdoo. Flair with the win via DQ or Rhea with the win via DQ?
Flair wins with the DQ.
Okay.
I personally, I kind of hope that we see like what Ty speculated, some type of interference from the comeback. I think that's a perfect time to do it too. Obviously you speculate about Becky Lynch. There's always been speculation surrounding Ronda Rousey. When's she going to come back?
I would love to see Rousey versus Flair.
God.
That's a WrestleMania match.
Because you want to know what? And I think they did this purposely when in her last match in WWE when she lost at WrestleMania. Her shoulder was not on the mat. That was
for sure. They left that open.
They're left it open-ended. They left it open-ended, so that's where that's going to come into play. She's going to come in, demand her title shot that she never truly lost a title. She's going to point to the screen. We're all going to see what we already know. Like it's bound to happen somewhere.
And
now that
Vince has said, and like WWE said, they want to make SummerSlam, I think, probably bigger than WrestleMania this year, just because you're going to have 100% capacity. Everything's back. Everything's like full go. So I think we could see something crazy like that, Dwayne.
100%. And you know what? Just obviously, this is the effect of having fans back with how great SmackDown was. But you can see the competition pushing WWE. You see gimmick matches on live shows again. You see you saw your first Hell in a Cell match. Yeah, Fatal 4-Way. You saw your first Hell in a Cell match in 20 years on a Raw. You have last man standing matches. I think you did 2 in 2 weeks or whatever it was. It's like you see the push that the competition is driving and kind of forcing the hand the same way it was forced back in the days of the Monday Night Wars. Not that this is the same extent, but they're feeling the pressure.
Oh, it's very close for sure. And speaking of close, what do you think of this close matchup, Rob Ryan? Who you got, Rhea or Charlotte?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick along the lines of the DQ win by Charlotte. I just don't think this feud's gonna end. I think, like everyone's saying, I was really hoping Becky would be that TBA announcement for the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match, but she wasn't. But I definitely think we're gonna see Becky soon, just because it's almost been a year and a half. Usually, when you're on maternity leave, it's only usually 5-6 months after you have the baby. And that's coming up, and I think they're really saving some big triple threat match or something to really kick this women's title in gear, because really we've seen the same two people since WrestleMania. So I think it's time to really kick this women's division forward.
Speaking of kicking it forward, questionable decisions of the Sabres expansion list, but I won't let Dwayne or Ty be unleashed on that because we don't have time. Shout out H-Man 340 for tuning in though. Really I have Charlotte via DQ as well. We are moving on to the second half of the Money in the Bank preview show here. Thank you for tuning in, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Make sure you're following along, subscribing, and on this train. And it is up for grabs. The WWE Championship, still my favorite championship overall. I know that, the Intercontinental gets some push. You got the Universal title and Roman and the great work they're doing on SmackDown. Obviously, to me, it's still all about the WWE belt. And we got Bobby Lashley facing off against Kofi Kingston. Pretty interesting matchup if you had told someone, 9 months ago that this would be the Money in the Bank matchup. I just don't see any way that they take it off of Lashley. Maybe they do some kind of screwy finish where he goes crazy, just exerts his will or whatever. But I would be absolutely shocked if Kofi Kingston. This would be more shocking than Kofi Mania by far if this were to happen. I got Lashley retaining. I'll kick it off and throw it to you, Rob Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, they've given Kofi this big push again, but I just don't think it's his time to win it again, especially against Lashley. I'm going to go with Lashley, and we'll see who wins that Money in the Bank contract later on, and we'll see if that starts a feud with Bobby or if they find someone else to really kick it off, because Raw's really running out of options because they've pushed through so much that it's like they got to scramble to find new people to face Bobby.
So, thanks to the internet, I feel like we already know who's going to win this match.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to all you dirt sheet ruiners out there. You make wrestling so much fun. Lashley's going to win. He has minus 1,000 odds, and I think this is the biggest disparity in odds out of all the matches tonight. So, yeah, take Lashley. You'll earn your money back, guaranteed.
Yeah, there's a certain bill that'll be coming back kind of soon, and the speculation is he's going to be fighting a certain cool guy, Bobby Ashley. Don't know if you guys have heard of him. I think he's the main character on this TV show that I watch every once in a while. But yeah, no, Kingston's going to get some big moments. He's been absolutely incredible lately, and the fans absolutely love him. The New Day gimmick is, going to carry them forever. I don't think they need to break it up, and I think we're going to see Bobby Lashley kind of just run through him at the very end, though.
I forgot all about that.
My heart says Kofi just because I think there's a storyline. You've seen some really aggressive looks from Lashley towards MVP the last couple weeks. Maybe Lashley losing a little bit of faith in MVP. I don't know. My heart says Kofi, but like you said, the common sense thing says Lashley, so it'll be Lashley.
Yeah.
It sucks because I think is it really the Hurt Business anymore? Is it? It's not. So
there's two of them.
There's two of them.
But that's a great point, and I want to jump on that right now because I was just checking with our intern. Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin both still signed to WWE.
Yeah,
not really doing anything.
They've been fighting each other.
Let's face it. This is kind of a droll match by McAdoo's standards. You got Lashley at minus 1,000. Why not spice it up with having like Kofi on the verge of a win or something, and Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin come and run out and try and save the day, and then you know who you have next? Big E, and then the New Day is back together, and they're all fighting, and however you end it is however you end it. But it just seems like that would be a great opportunity to maybe reunite the Hurt Business since you don't have Alexander or Benjamin doing much. You want to keep giving Lashley a push. I mean, Dwayne, thoughts?
I like that idea. It's just how do you get them back into the fold with the Hurt Business after the way it ended? That'd be the tricky thing.
You got to earn your way back in.
They
had
them
feud afterwards, so
yeah, that's the thing. Like it
wouldn't be the craziest thing in WWE.
No, it wouldn't be. You would essentially have to get Lashley and MVP to come to them, admitting they were wrong. To get them the guys to come back. However you want to do it. I like that idea. I like that storyline. Or one reunion against another reunion, and where overall you eventually get Big E getting the belt finally. But it'd be a tricky storyline to pull off. But I like the idea.
You got Lashley retaining, right?
Yeah. Common sense says Lashley, even though I think it should be Kofi, but common sense says Lashley.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, we're getting to the nitty-gritty of it where you can basically throw all common sense out the window, and there's no better example than the women's Money in the Bank match. We're going to have Asuka, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Nikki, A.S.H, Liv Morgan, Zelina, Vega, Natalya, Tamina. Natalya and Tamina totally feel like they're the last two parts thrown in on this salad. I'm not being disrespectful to them. They're just the tag champions. I feel like they have 0.00000% chance of winning. Everybody else kind of can, and you can run with it. So with that said, it should be a wide open and pretty fun match. I am very excited about it, and I think that everyone's going to have something to prove. I will say that it's kind of crazy that this is like the second event back with fans for WWE, and they have Alexa Bliss in this match because obviously they could have done something cinematically with her. Could have taken advantage with no fans. So unfortunately, they won't be able to do that. Will be interesting to see what supernatural powers they give her. But with this said, I will cue it up before we go around the horn here, and I will say they're going to follow through with the Liv Morgan push. I think that it might not be the greatest thing ever, but it would be new. WWE would be trying to give something to the fans, and let's face it, even if she has to hold the belt for like the briefcase for 6 months, it doesn't mean, you have to be the face of WWE. It could be some more grooming time before they decide fully what they want to do with her and if they want to push for her. Kind of like they did with Otis. They held him off for a while, and then it seemed like they didn't want to pull the trigger. So he's in the spot he's in now, hopefully moving with the Alpha Academy. But I think it will be Liv Morgan getting it done in the women's Money in the Bank match. What do you think, Dwayne?
100% Liv Morgan. I've always been a big Liv Morgan fan. Going back to their NXT days, it's just you see the type of new side to her, the new push they've been giving her a little bit, the new look. So I mean, you don't do that. You don't invest that into a character unless like you have a direction for her. And I think that direction is winning Money in the Bank.
Yeah, for me on this one, like there was just a ton of speculation over the last like week or so, and reports that like the WWE did not even have the winner of Money in the Bank set yet, and you saw that with the TBA. There was a lot of speculation about Sonya Deville or someone coming back, but then throwing in Natalya and Tamina into this, I think just it makes it very obvious to pick Liv Morgan. I don't know if she ends up winning, but if you're a fan, I think that's who you're kind of rooting for, because we haven't seen for a long time, like Money in the Bank has not built up any of these characters into superstars since like Seth Rollins. Really, guys have hung around, women have hung around, but like they haven't put them to that next status. I think they can do that with Liv Morgan if they do it right here, McAdoo.
Yeah, and to your point, if you look at the last couple of years, if I can remember correctly, a lot of those guys a lot of those people are established. Like the other people that are coming up are the women, and you have Bliss, who won it the first time. Okay, Carmella really wasn't built up yet, and then it was Bayley. So 2 of those 3 were already built up, and then I can't remember who won last year. But so, anyways, back to this year, I have Liv Morgan. I don't know if it's because I'm going my heart more or my head more.
Asuka last year, the reason you don't remember is because she didn't need to cash it in to become
That's
the champion.
right.
We just gave her the belt. So it makes sense. It literally makes sense why you didn't reason, but keep going.
Again, 3 so 3 out of 4, because Asuka was also established by that time too. Correct me if I'm wrong. Again, Asuka doesn't need the briefcase. Bliss doesn't need it. You can argue Naomi doesn't need it, but then again, it could go either way. So I think you're down to Nikki, A.S.H, Zelina Vega, which I don't think it was going to be her anyways, because she just came back after how much time off did she have? She was actually fired, I think. And then Liv Morgan. So I'm going to go Morgan here.
Yeah, I'm definitely also going to go Liv Morgan. Like McAdoo was saying, Asuka is established, Bliss is established, Naomi, you can say, is established. Natalya and Tamina have their feud with Tegan and Shotzi. So, they're not going to...
Knox. Not Tegan.
Tegan Knox. And
no, it's just Knox now.
Oh, it's just Knox now? Oh,
Knox.
Well, Knox and Shotzi.
Schnoxy.
So I'm definitely going to Liv Morgan, but I definitely want to see what they do with Alexa's character now, because they can't really do the quick changes. They can't really do some of the stuff they were able to do without any fans. So it's definitely interesting to see where they push the cinematic view of her character, but I'm definitely going Liv Morgan in this one.
Okay, so we got business. Sorry, Ty B and McAdoo. Who'd you lock in again? I'm sorry, I deleted.
Liv.
Okay, Liv. Okay, we're Liv across the board. Okay, that's what
yeah.
I thought, but I just want to make sure I wasn't missing. Okay, so we have a couple picks that we are all united on. We all have Lashley retaining. We all have Styles and Omos, and we all have Liv Morgan. So this is probably a good sign that we're going to get owned, and WWE is going to try and swerve the hell out of us like they always try to do.
They're watching this show right now, and they're like,
they're like, oh, we'll show you emotion.
They're going to swerve us.
A.S.H. We're going to see little kids running around everywhere with superhero capes. It's going to be great.
And then the return we get is Braun Strowman and Nicholas, and they come back for the tag team titles, and they squash Styles and Omos. All right, Folks, we are here. It is definitely main event time when you're getting to the Money Bank matches, WWE Championship, but now it truly feels like it. We're getting Edge in a main event in a solo match. Again, I got to assume this is leading to the second to last or the last match that goes on of the night. Edge, the Rated R Superstar versus Roman Reigns. We know who McAdoo has, so we're not going to him first. We will go to Rob Ryan. Rob, who you got between these two bosses when they go head-to-head for the Universal belt?
I really think they allowed Roman to really do the head of the table stuff for so long, but it's Edge's turn. I'm going with Edge. I mean, come on now. He won the Royal Rumble. He got screwed out of his singles match at Mania. He's really had that really angry push lately with fans back. I mean, let me know one fan that doesn't like Edge. Edge is one of the biggest fan favorites of all of WWE ever. I really think it's Edge's turn to win back that title and go for it. The Rated R Superstar is taking that title tonight.
Who's it on next?
He knows he's next. That's why he's not saying anything because he's so upset at he's upset at Rob Ryan, and two, we all know where this is going.
What? I'm not upset at Rob because he's wrong. He should know he's wrong. He should know who's going to win this match. It's Mr. Superman Punch. It's the head of the table for a reason, Rob. But
self-proclaimed head of the table.
He is the head of the table. Who has the belt right now? Thank you very much. That's all you need to say. But I will give Edge this. He does have probably the best theme song in all of WWE with Metalingus by Alter Bridge.
That Edge pop is going to be insane tonight, Tybee. But is it going to be enough to get the Rated R Superstar over the hump?
No, they're already building up an Edge and Seth feud for SummerSlam. Like, unless like Seth's going to be his challenger at SummerSlam for the belt, but like Roman just doesn't, like run it back, like try to get his belt right back. So I don't think he can do both at the same time. So it's going to be head of the table.
I have a couple scenarios here.
Zach, get off the YouTube. Stop commenting.
I'm sorry, I can't help it.
I got a couple scenarios here, and this goes back to my comments earlier about the tag team. I just can see there being a situation where there's some animosity within the family. Roman loses the belt here at Money in the Bank, but the Usos retain the tag title, so they're the only ones with gold on their shoulders. Creates a lot of pressure on Roman, a lot of tension, just leads to another storyline. I don't think that'll happen, but it's just one way they can go. But the way I think this is going to go, even though I think everybody wants Edge to win, I want Edge to win. I don't think Money in the Bank is a big enough moment. You know what I mean? As great of a pay-per-view as it is, when Edge gets the belt, I think you want that real big moment for it to happen. What I think is going to happen is I think this isn't the end of it. I think Edge, with the way they've been building this character, he officially goes over the edge, pun intended. And he gets himself disqualified because he refuses to listen to the ref. He refuses to obey the ref's orders. He gets him because he just loses it. He mentally cracks during the match, and he wins, but he loses, and it continues on with the feud between him and Roman.
Could see it.
I just want to add one more thing.
Get in there, Rob Ryan.
Just remember who tapped at Mania and the ref was down while it happened. That's all I want to add.
Any rebuttal, McAdoo?
A win's a win, my guy. A win's a win.
He stacked him, and then he smacked him, and he stacked him. I am going to go with Roman. I really want to see Edge. I think there will absolutely be a moment where it seems like Edge is about to win in this. Maybe we get an Uso running in. Maybe we get Rikishi running in. I don't know. I would love to see Cena return tonight. That would be pretty big as far as the landscape goes. But
everyone says he's locked in for SummerSlam, so you have to bring him back at some point, whether it's tonight.
That is true. He does have to come back.
One of the Bleach Report questions that they asked in the app was, does Becky Lynch or Cena return tonight? I don't think either one returns tonight. You'll see it this
when
week.
When does Brock return to give us that storyline? Let's be real.
Yeah, but right now she wouldn't be with Heyman anymore. How does that work? You
want to talk about parlay fodder? There's a lot of return fodder out in the WWE
I'm just saying,
universe right now.
because that's just a built-in storyline in itself. Paul Heyman, all this time, all the years he spent,
because he's always staring at the belt.
Yeah, and it's just like
not at Roman. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
you know what I mean?
Roman holds it up and he's just staring at the belt.
You know what I mean? There's just a built-in storyline. When Brock returns, he's gonna look. You've betrayed me. You went to this guy, and it's just gonna be I think that's a storyline where you see Brock there every week, sneak attacking. Just absolutely just terrorizing the family, the table, the family, or however you want to call it. I always said they should have went with the Samoan Dynasty. Bring back Rikishi. Bring back all of them, and just a faction called the Samoan Dynasty. I've been on that train for a while, but. Just you bring back Brock and you make their lives a living hell. Every single fly event, there's Brock just in his face, just making his life hell. But I don't think that happens here at Money in the Bank. But it has to be down the road, right? It has to be.
There's a lot they can do down this road. You kind of, like we've been talking about, this WWE is treating this SummerSlam probably as big as they would treat a Mania. I forget who exactly said it earlier, but I think that's 100% accurate. And this is really beginning. This is kind of like the Royal Rumble on the road
essentially.
SummerSlam. So yeah, most definitely. It's going to be very interesting to see if WWE takes advantage of this opportunity tonight with a, intense, well-written show, or if they kind of mail it in and play it safe with the live crowd, because it'll be very easy to tell. Because they won't be holding it back when we get to the men's Money in the Bank match. We got Ricochet, John Morrison.
Johnny Drip Drip.
Yeah, Johnny Drip Drip. Riddle, RK Bros Finest, McIntyre, Big E, Kevin Owens, Nakamura, King Nakamura, obviously, and Seth Rollins. About 4 to 5 solid candidates to win the belt here. I mean, even John Morrison would be funny just because, The Miz would clearly still want it in some way, and it would be funny just to see. I will kick it off with the picks here. Oh, by the way, I think I said it, but I was going with Roman for the Edge Roman match. Men's Money in the Bank, I am going to say King Nakamura. He gets a second shot after, they kind of missed his push 2.5 years, 3 years ago. They give him another shot. They've been giving him with the King Nakamura. Vince loves his king, no matter what it was. King Booker, yada, yada. King Nakamura gets it done. Rob, who you got?
Yeah, this is such a toss-up because there's so many good options in this match. Earlier in the day, I was thinking Seth, but I don't think that's going to happen because if Roman does win, they're going to have the feud with Edge and Seth. So I'm going to kick off Seth. Morrison, Riddle, they are not winning. McIntyre, I could see McIntyre because he lost his belt originally from the contract when Lashley interfered and then Miz came in and won it. So definitely I could see McIntyre, but I'm gonna go with they've been giving the King a push. He's back to being a face in the WWE. So I think I'm gonna go with Nakamura here.
So what's interesting about this match, you have Johnny Drip Drip versus the guy with the best drip in all of WWE in Seth Rollins. So that this is a good that was something I had in my
that suit the other night was just outrageous.
Oh, that was incredible.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know how much I love Seth Rollins. You know how much I want to say Seth Rollins here, but I'm not. It's put up or shut up time. Is WWE actually going to push him now, or is he just going to fade into the abyss? It is Big E's opportunity now. He's going to win the Money in the Bank. He's going to get that title opportunity at some point down the line.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Real quick, just before Ty B and Dueno take us home here. Kofi winning the title somehow, despite being plus 650, and Big E with the Money in the Bank. There's a storyline and a half.
Right?
They're opposite shows. Unless they get drafted.
Money in the
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Money in the Bank, baby.
Oh, Money in the Bank could be either. You're right.
And aren't they teasing a draft soon anyway?
And
there's a draft.
And Riddle has even talked about cashing it in for the tag team titles with Randy. So there's so many interesting storylines you can do here.
We're gonna do it, Randy.
Because he stepped in to do it for Randy, and then he wins it, and then Randy's like, just give me the briefcase. You won it for me. I want to cash it in for a title, a world title shot. And then he's like, but I got it for us, bro. We can be tag titles.
Bro.
You have that great storyline. Maniac mentioned with Johnny Drip Drip and The Miz, like that would be pretty incredible. You could do a lot of stuff with that. Ricochet's done some incredible spots lately. Maybe they could push him. I don't think they will though. Drew, they got to figure something out for him right now. It's just not working. And I don't know what the fan response would be if he won Money in the Bank. And we've just seen him getting title shot after title shot after title shot after losing, and doesn't make sense. Kevin Owens just coming back. I think they're going to use him for other things. But Big E here, I think that's where that Lashley match comes into play here. If we see Lashley go off at the end and he just really takes his anger out on Kofi at the end of the match here, and just starts beating him up after the bell, or whatever happens, I think we could see Big E winning Money in the Bank, and we see the New Day all get back together, and Big E finally gets his shot there at the title and gets it here at some point over the next few months. That's why I'm going with Big E winning this one. I think there's just so many storylines, so many ways you could go, because even if Kofi won, like you said, Maniac, that'd be an incredible storyline too. Big E just being like, hey, Kofi, nothing personal. And like, you don't even have to break up New Day. It can just be like, let's finally see who's better. Like, you always had all the title chances, and let's see who's actually better. Let's, one-on-one, let's see who's better. Dwayne, what do you think?
When it comes to Money in the Bank, you always want to give the briefcase to somebody who's going to do the best with the briefcase, present it the best way, during like the way the Miz was. Miz does a great job. Seth Rollins always did a great job. Brock Lesnar, when he randomly came in near the end of the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, he did the whole beatbox, the Brock box, whatever you want to call it. You want to give to a guy who's going to be able to present it and do the best storylines with it. And, usually like a villain almost. I think that's why Otis didn't, he just wasn't built to hold the briefcase. I'm going to go off the board here. I'm going to say it's going to be Seth. I just think he's a villain. He's been getting a little bit. I'm completely off the board. I think it's going to be Seth.
Dwayne brought up something I wanted to bring up that I completely forgot about. If it ends up being like 2019 and someone comes, well, it's not going to happen again, but that freaking pissed me off, man. Who
didn't piss you off? Who didn't piss off?
Seriously, how do you have so many damn so many car wreck instances, and then that happens? Are you how?
That's what I'm saying. You put the briefcase on somebody who can do the best acting job with it. And for Big E, for me, I see him winning the title in a one-on-one singles match and him getting his moment, because they've been building him up for a while. Nakamura, if it's not Seth for me, it's Nakamura. It's one of those two. Maybe McIntyre too. Vince loves big guys.
Just locking everybody in now, Dwayne?
No, I'm giving my reasoning.
He's hedging his bet.
I'm giving my reasoning. Like McIntyre, it's like Vince loves big guys, and he never really got his moments in front of a live crowd to really showcase himself as a champion. But McIntyre isn't going to be a guy that goes away. He's going to get other opportunities down the line. For me, it's either Nakamura and Seth, and if I'm thinking of who's going to do the best job with the briefcase, I think it's going to be Seth.
I think that point is 100% been proven, and probably would be proven again if they put the belt on Seth. We're looking for big moments tonight at a WWE Money in the Bank 2020. Go ahead.
One more thing about this match is I think I saw this. I think it was on Squared Circle on Reddit. Someone had an idea, maybe you just trust the fan pop here on this one and see who the fans are getting behind. You give everyone some moments, who's going over the most, and you have maybe 3 outcomes. And at some point, because so much is going on, you can get someone to just tell the ref. The ref has a spot where they have to tell the 3 guys by, and that happens or something. That would be real cool. But I don't know if they're going to push it like that, but it could come down to a last minute decision when they see what happens in some of these other matches too.
I could definitely see that. You go by the fan reaction. You haven't had fans in a year and a half.
Who's over? You don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Go.
I think Big E's going to get an incredible pop.
Oh, 100%. 100%. you saw the entrances on SmackDown, how cool those were. I think I'm expecting a lot bigger here at Money in the Bank, the first real lot. I mean, Grant, we've had pay-per-views with live audiences in the past 6 months, but this is the first at full capacity. I think they're going to go big.
Touring, yeah.
They're going to go big or go home tonight. I think that's a good point. I think they go by pop here. Again, I'm going to stick with my Seth Rollins prediction, though. I just think he's a great villain. I think that he's gonna present the briefcase in the best way out of any of those guys, and that's just my choice.
He's got his choice. And by the way, I just realized that tonight we're gonna get McAfee Money in the Bank ladder match reactions.
Yeah. Oh my God! He is built for that.
I was gonna say there's probably gonna be 10 to 12 times where he just has like a heart attack.
And that's perfect right now. I've been thinking about a prop bet over 1.5 dripstick hits. If we get a whole bunch of dripstick shots, like someone just getting beat up with a dripstick, can you imagine Pat McAfee just losing his mind? I need that. Sign me up for that all day.
Sign it up. And make sure if you're following along, you're signing up for all things Trainwreck Sports, whether it's Dwayne over at Two Goalies with Mike, Rob Ryan, and McAdoo with their articles, or Bull Talk coming, and Tybee and myself with a little bit of everything. Make sure you are following along. And I know we've been talking about this, but there it is. It's locked in. We got the predictions. We're going to have the records going forward, so we will be able to track and see who knows what on the show. By the way, shout out Micah for not being able to make it. We had him on the roster there. He was physically unable to compete tonight, but we are physically ready for a big Sunday. Gentlemen, folks, anything to say before we sign off?
One prediction for everyone who's coming back tonight, because there's going to be at least one. You know that.
I'm going Becky Lynch after the Flair Ripley match.
Yeah,
I think that might be the best option to lock in.
I'm going Becky also.
If I had to pick one, it's probably going to be Becky, but I don't think it happens.
I really, like I said earlier, I really thought she was going to be that TBA in the women's Money in the Bank, and I think that's why they left it open for so long. But then they decided to really just maybe interfere with the Rhea and Charlotte, so I'm still going Becky.
Dwayne?
I'm thinking.
I think it's going to be a big – they have to do something big because AEW just bringing in Aleister Black and them having fans. They've been having some incredible shows lately. The numbers have been nuts. So they have to – I think they got to do something big.
Ladies and gentlemen, Carlito is back.
When he came back, man, he was yoked too.
I know what happened. Right. He just left again. Real quick.
He just sees us out.
Fuck.
I spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool. Common sense says Becky, but I think I'm on board with McAdoo. I think a big Becky. Yeah. I think a SummerSlam is a better stage for a Becky return, in my opinion.
It would be, but she's going to return before SummerSlam. They're going to want to set her up for a match.
Do they treat Money in the Bank, the Raw after Money in the Bank, as maybe a stage to do that? You know what I mean? They kind of do that Monday after Mania. I mean,
I think you can absolutely.
I'm throwing this out there.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm throwing this out there. I don't know why I've been thinking you haven't heard much about Braun Strowman. I know he's just
Braun and Nicholas are going to come back.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying, he's been very quiet. You haven't heard any speculation on him going to New Japan or AEW, anything at all. And again, just to put the belt on him just over a year ago, and then to him be unemployed right now, for me, doing what's best for business, that just doesn't make a ton of sense. And he would get an enormous pop the second you heard that. The second you hear that, the pop.
Are you sure it's not going to be the train?
Yeah, he would get the train.
Or that, yeah, that's whichever. You know what I mean?
Comes in on an actual train. They're just loving life.
Yeah, like Shotzi's tank, but a train instead.
But I feel like it's gonna be Braun.
Okay,
I'm gonna say Goldberg.
Oh God, no, please.
Oh my God, that would be something. Well, hey, at the very least, we have a lot to look forward to. We might hop onto the live watch long, but either way, keep it tuned here. Trainwreck Sports, Money in the Bank, big. What do you got, McAdoo?
No, nothing. No, just,
I thought you were.
Let's go with the outro.
I have done that to you before, so I'll never do that to you again. Make sure you're following along all things Trainwreck Sports. Make sure you're following Rob Ryan, McAdoo, Ty B, Dwayne, myself, because it's not wrestling with your conscience. It's not wrestling with your budget. It is wrestling with emotion.